In an alien observation chamber, a tense council watches Earth's silent response to their first probe. Confusion turns to dread as humans break every expected protocol, triggering a deadly countdown. Across the void, human commanders brace. If a war, their silence an ominous promise. The great hall of the Virek High Council was carved from the obsidian spires of Velnor, a moon shrouded in perpetual storm clouds. Below the vaulted ceiling, an array of holoscreens flickered, displaying star charts, intercepted human transmissions, and the latest images from Earth's orbit. The council members, sleek, multi-limbed Virek with iridescent exoskeletons, whispered in harsh clicks and glows, their eyes darting to the main projection, a silent Earth. The humans respond with nothing, hissed Councillor Zelshara, her antennae twitching in disbelief. No comm signals, no transmissions, only silence. Impossible, growled General Kramvak, thumping his clawed hand on the polished floor. All species react with curiosity, fear, or desperation. Silence means something else. Death? The chamber dimmed as a new feed replaced Earth's peaceful blue-green orb with something far more sinister. Ships emerging from deep underground bunkers. Black, angular vessels, each the size of a mountain, thrumming with unseen power. Deathworld-Class warships, muttered the science overseer. Vireka, long presumed myth. Earth built these in absolute secrecy. A deep unease rippled through the council. The humans, thought to be a minor tribal species, had just escalated. They had weaponized their planet in absolute stealth. The silence broke, not from Earth but from the chamber. A sudden surge of noise, alarms blaring. The Council's main comm feed exploded with an urgent message intercepted from Earth's Space Command. Initiate Protocol 0. Code Nemesis. Deploy counterstrike in T-300 seconds. A Virek junior analyst gasped. They're counting. Down to war. Zelshara's compound eyes widened. Why? Why do they respond with death instead of dialogue? Thousands of kilometers below Earth's atmosphere, Commander Mira Chen sat motionless in the warship Defiance's command deck. The dark glass of her viewport showed the Virek fleet, silent but massive, floating just beyond sensor range. Her fingers hovered over the activation console. Every second ticked down in her mind. No words, no greetings, no hope for peace. We knew they would underestimate us, Mira whispered. Her voice cracked with grim resolve. They think silence means submission. She activated the stealth matrix, an advanced cloaking field that bent light and disrupted gravity waves. The Defiance would vanish from every sensor, becoming a ghost ship. Commander, the countdown is at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, reported Latios Harris, his eyes flicking nervously. Good, Mira said. Let them watch their probes fade into nothing. Then when they least expect it, she clenched her fist. We strike! Back on Velnor, the council chambers shattered into chaos. Activate EMP countermeasures. Deploy the shock drones. Kramvak barked orders. The screens flickered as the Virek fleet scrambled. But the humans were already ghost ships, undetectable, unstoppable shadows moving with cold precision. Why are they like this? Zelshara whispered, staring at the silent world. Why choose silence before destruction? The final image. Burned in the Council's memory, Earth's warships lining up like jagged teeth, the countdown clock hitting 0, and then a blinding pulse. They don't speak with words. They speak with war. Mira's voice echoed across the comm lines as the first salvo of Deathworld-Class weapons unleashed hell. The galaxy had misread humanity, and now it would pay. The great hall of the Virek High Council was carved from the obsidian spires of Velnor, a moon shrouded in perpetual storm clouds. Below the vaulted ceiling, hollow screens flickered with star charts, intercepted transmissions, and a live feed of Earth's orbit. The council members, sleek, multi-limbed Virek with iridescent exoskeletons, whispered in clicks and glows, their eyes fixed on the silent blue-green world. "The humans respond with nothing," hissed Councillor Zelshara, antennae twitching. In disbelief, no comm signals, no transmissions, only silence. "Impossible," growled General Kramvak, thumping his clawed hand on the floor. "All species react with curiosity, fear, or desperation. Silence means death." The chamber dimmed as a new feed replaced Earth's serene image with angular. Warships emerging from underground bunkers, black mountain-sized vessels thrummed with latent power. Deathworld-Class warships, muttered Science Overseer Vireka. "Long-thought myth. Earth built these in absolute secrecy." Unease rippled through the council. The humans, dismissed as primitive, had escalated with terrifying swiftness. Suddenly, alarms blared. The council's comm feed exploded with an intercepted message from Earth's command. "Initiate Protocol 0. Code Nemesis. Deploy counterstrike in T-300 seconds." A junior analyst gasped. "They're counting down to war." Zelshara's eyes widened. Why respond with death instead of dialogue? Thousands of kilometers below Earth's atmosphere, Commander Mira Chen sat motionless in the warship Defiance's command deck. Outside, the silent Virek fleet hovered, unaware of the cloaked human ships slipping into shadows. Her fingers hovered over the activation console. Every second ticked down. No words, no hope. "We knew they'd underestimate us," Mira whispered. "They think silence means submission." She activated the stealth matrix, bending light and gravity waves to vanish defiance from every sensor. "Commander, a countdown is 2 minutes 30 seconds, reported Lieutenant Harris, eyes nervous. "Good," Mira said. "Let them watch probes fade into nothing. Then, when they least expect it," she clenched her fist, "we strike." Back on Velnor, chaos erupted. "Activate EMP countermeasures. Deploy shock drones." Kramvak barked. Screens flickered. As Virek ships scrambled, but human ghost ships moved with deadly precision. "Why are they like this?" Zelshara whispered. "Why choose silence before destruction?" The final image burned in their minds. Earth's warships lined up like jagged teeth, countdown hitting 0, and then a blinding pulse. "They don't speak with words. They speak with war." Mira's voice echoed as Deathworld-class weapons unleashed hell. The galaxy had misread humanity, and now it would pay. The void was silent but deadly. Virek ships blinked out of sensor grids one by one. No signatures, no signals, no warning. General Kramvak slammed his claw on the console. "Ghosts! The humans have cloaked their entire fleet! What sorcery is this?" Vireka leaned over. Her instruments, voice tight. Gravity manipulation coupled with nano-photon cloaking. They bend space around their hulls, hiding from every scan. Kramvak growled, "Their EMP blast disabled our common shields. We are blind." Meanwhile, deep inside the Defiance, the warship glided unseen through the dark sea of stars. Commander Mira Chen's mind raced. "Phase 2 begins," she announced. "Deploy nanotech infiltration drones. We strike their comm satellites. Cut their coordination." Lieutenant Harris nodded, launching the swarm. Back on the Virek flagship, panic gripped the council. "The humans are not just warriors, they are hunters," Zelshara muttered, her voice trembling. "They know us better than we know ourselves." Kramvak barked, "Focus fire on anything that moves. We cannot fight ghosts." Vireka's voice was cold. "We must understand their psychology. Why kill before a word?" Zelshara's antennae drooped. "Because silence is their weapon. Silence is their death sentence." Dr. Amir Qureshi sat alone in the dim, sterile lab aboard the Defiance, his fingers tracing over the cracked glass of an ancient Earth map displayed on his datapad. The world beneath him was no longer the lush cradle of humanity's origin. It was a scarred forge, hardened by centuries of bloodshed and broken promises. The galaxy never understood, Amir murmured, voice barely audible over the hum of machinery. We were betrayed too many times. Our neighbors, the once trusted allies, they left us to rot, to die, every treaty a trap, every word a lie. He swiped the map, revealing vast regions marked death world zones, extreme environments engineered or left wild where only the ruthless survived. Here humanity had been forged into a species that understood silence as both shield and sword. Silence became our language, because we learned trust was fatal. If they speak, it's already too late. Behind him, rows of soldiers calibrated, nanotech weaponry, microscopic machines designed to infiltrate alien systems, disable shields, and dissolve defenses from within. The soldiers moved with cold precision, hardened faces etched with grim resolve. Far above, alien probes scuttled through Earth's atmosphere, skimming the edge of oceans that hid submerged war bases and deserts dotted with camouflaged bunkers. The Viric scientists controlling the probes leaned in, jaws tightening. How can such a seemingly primitive world possess this level of stealth and weaponry? Whispered Virica, her luminescent eyes reflecting the probe feed. The probes revealed glimpses of violent training grounds, scorching Deathworld jungles, where human recruits endured savage storms, hostile flora and fauna designed to kill. Without mercy, the Virek Council had dismissed Earth's people as naive primitives, but now the evidence was undeniable. Survival here isn't an accident, Vireka murmured. It is engineered cruelty, and our mistake was underestimating it. Back in the Defiance, Amir's voice echoed softly to Mira Chen in the command deck through encrypted comms. They don't know what it means to live where silence is a promise of death, to live in places where mercy died long ago. We built this war to keep humanity alive. Commander Chen nodded grimly. That silence you speak of, it is our first and last warning. Outside, the hum of cloaked warships whispered through the void, unseen, unheard, but ready to roar. The command deck of the Defiance pulsed with cold, efficient light. Mira Chen stood at the center, her eyes scanning. Multiple holographic displays of the approaching Virek fleet, a swirling armada of sleek silver vessels bristling with weaponry. Their designs elegant but deadly. They think they have us cornered, Chen whispered, voice tight. But we've never played fair, not when survival was on the line. Behind her, tactical officers worked silently, inputting coordinates and activating encrypted protocols. Nanotech swirled inside the ship's systems, programmed to cloak Defiance and her sister Deathworld-Class ships in an adaptive quantum veil, rendering them undetectable by enemy sensors. Cloaking active, announced Lieutenant Jamal Reyes. Nanites synchronized to environmental background. We're ghosts, Chen's fingers hovered over the comm console. Ready EMP charges? She asked. Fully charged, Commander. Each capable of disabling enemy shields up to 3 kilometers. Away, Reyes answered, eyes steady but grim. Good. Once they hit the kill zone, we pull the trigger. Silence will become a scream. Far beyond, in the Virek Command Citadel, orbiting the gas giant Threxos, Admiral Siltha studied incoming sensor data. The humans were uncharacteristically quiet. No comm chatter, no early salvo, only a ghost. Fleet lurking in the dark. This is unprecedented, Siltha muttered to his second-in-command, Varaxa. They've been silent since first contact. Now they refuse to fire first. What are they planning? Varaxa's mandibles twitched. Our readings show their ships disappearing, literally vanishing from our sensors. Silthar's antennae flattened in disbelief. Impossible. We've never encountered a cloaking technology this advanced. The room filled with tension as their best analysts scrambled to find explanations. Could it be a new kind of nanotech, one speculated, or an EMP shield too strong to penetrate? No, Silthar said finally. This is Earth. Their silence hides a storm we've yet to understand. Back on the Defiance, Chen's voice broke the heavy silence of the bridge. All units, maintain stealth. Recon drones deploy. From a concealed bay, dozens of nanodrones released into the void, their minuscule forms flickering invisibly against the backdrop of stars. They weaved through asteroid belts and gas clouds toward the Virek fleet, scanning for weaknesses. Lieutenant Reyes kept one eye on the drone feed. Drones report active shield arrays on capital ships, but no sign of secondary weapon activation. Chen frowned. They're waiting for us to break first. Her comm crackled. "Commander, you need to see this," said the voice of Dr. Amir Qureshi from the science lab. Chen nodded sharply. "Patch him through." In the science lab, Amir's fingers flew over holographic schematics of a Virek capital ship. The Virek rely heavily on plasma shielding, which is vulnerable to electromagnetic pulses. However, their defense systems are linked via quantum entanglement, highly responsive and adaptive. He paused. But the nanotech cloaking we developed can disrupt their quantum links, creating chaos in their shield grids for milliseconds, enough to breach critical points. Chen's eyes narrowed. So the EMP must be synchronized with cloaking to hit those weak spots. Amir nodded. Exactly, but that's only the start. Their ships are too fast for a conventional ambush. Then we hit where it hurts most. The Defiant shifted silently, unseen, toward the core of the Virek fleet. Chen's heart hammered. With every calculated movement, prepare for EMP detonation in T-10 seconds, she ordered. Seconds stretched like eternities. 5, 4, 3... A ripple of silence passed over the void. Then the Defiance's hull pulsed with a low, humming charge. "Fire!" Chen commanded. A sudden burst of electromagnetic energy rippled through the Virek fleet like a shockwave. Shields flickered, faltered, then exploded in cascades of blue plasma. Several ships lost all shielding and were immediately targeted by hidden human sniper drones equipped with kinetic micromissiles. Chaos erupted. "Enemy ships are falling," Lieutenant Reyes reported, voice tense. But the Virek were fast learners. Their fleet fragmented, sending swarms of fighter drones to intercept the human nanodrones. Missiles streaked through the blackness. Amir's voice broke through Chen's comm, voice strained. "Commander, their AI adaptive protocols are rebooting their shields. We have seconds before full recovery." "Then we keep them off balance," Chen said, determination hardening her tone. "Deploy cloaked strike teams, target their command vessels." In cramped drop pods coated with active camouflage, human soldiers launched silently toward the nearest Virek command ship. Their mission: sabotage the quantum relay systems controlling shield regeneration. Among them was Lieutenant Kayla Morozov, eyes sharp beneath her helmet as her squad breached the hull through vacuum-sealed airlocks. Inside, the ship was a nightmare of alien tech, organic and mechanical, fused in eerie harmony. But Kayla's team moved like ghosts, planting EMP disruptors and nanobot swarms designed to cripple control nodes. Suddenly, alarms blared. The Virek crew was waking. "Move! Now!" Kayla barked. Back on the Defiance, Chen tracked the progress. Strike teams report heavy resistance, but confirmed damage to shield controls, Reyes said. A low growl rumbled through the ship. As sensors detected incoming Virek reinforcements. "Brace for counterattack," Chen ordered. "Activate planetary defense arrays." On Earth's surface, massive orbital cannons hidden within mountain ranges powered up, their barrels gleaming cold and ready. "Target coordinates locked," the artillery commander announced. Huge beams of concentrated energy erupted skyward, slamming into Virek reinforcements with devastating force. The fleet staggered. Still, the battle's cost was clear. Kayla's squad was pinned down, casualties mounting. Chen clenched her jaw. "We bought time, but it won't hold forever." The silence shattered again when a single Virek ship emitted a garbled transmission, a message mixed with panic and awe. "You are monsters. How can you fight like this? We were the apex. We were peacekeepers." Chen answered with cold finality. "We are survivors. We are Earth." In that moment, the power shifted. The galaxy had underestimated Earth's silence, and now it was deafening. The void around Earth trembled with deadly energy. The Virek fleet, once an imposing wall of silver and menace, now flickered with fractured shields and scattered wreckage. Fires bloomed across hulls like scars on living beasts. Aboard the Defiance, Mira Chen's eyes burned bright with exhaustion and defiance. The battle had stretched longer than anyone had hoped. Hours of cat and mouse between cloaked Deathworld ships and the relentless Virek assault. "Status report," Chen said sharply. Lieutenant Reyes tapped rapidly on his console, face tight. "We've taken heavy damage on the Vanguard wing. Several fighters down. Strike teams are holding but losing ground in several boarding engagements." Chen's jaw clenched. "Casualties? Too many. We're losing good people every minute." In the alien command citadel orbiting Threxus, the mood was a mirror of chaos and despair. Admiral Silthar's antennae twitched erratically as he paced the war room. How could this be? The humans, primitive, silent, should have fallen to our first strike. Beside him, Varaxa's bioluminescent eyes glowed dimly, her mandibles trembling. "They fight like death incarnate. Our AI cannot predict their moves. They cloak and strike from nowhere. They're weapons. They survive strikes that would tear apart any other species." Silthar gritted his teeth. "We were fools to underestimate Earth. Our confidence has become our downfall." A nearby analyst shook her head. "They're Deathworld-Class ships. The technology is unlike anything we've seen. Nanotech cloaking, EMP shields synchronized with quantum disruptors. This isn't primitive, it's evolution at its deadliest." Back on the Defiance, Chen stared at the tactical display, dots and blips representing lives, strategy, and hope. "This war is not just fought with weapons," she whispered to herself. "It's fought with every scar we carry, every betrayal, every death." She remembered the early days on Earth, betrayal by allies, scorched Earth policies, death world training grounds where only the strongest survived. Humanity's silence had been born from that crucible. She tapped her comm. "Deploy the second wave of nanodrones. This time, target their AI cores and propulsion systems." Reyes nodded. "Understood. We'll cripple their fleet's ability to maneuver and retaliate." In the thick of the battle, Lieutenant Kayla Morozov fought to keep her squad alive inside a crippled Virek warship. The air was thick with smoke and the bitter tang of burning circuitry. Alien bodies littered the corridors, but reinforcements were flooding in. "Medic down!" A voice crackled over the comm. Kayla gritted her teeth. "Hold the line, don't let them overwhelm us." Her helmet HUD flickered as nanobots injected into her bloodstream accelerated healing, but the strain was immense. Suddenly, the ship's gravity failed. Kayla felt herself pulled in all directions, disoriented. "Gravity systems are offline. We're drifting," her squadmate yelled. Kayla activated her magnetic boots, anchoring herself. "We need to stabilize or we're dead," she said grimly. "Find the gravity control module." Meanwhile, in the Virek citadel, a council chamber buzzed with tension. Elder Virek emissaries argued fiercely. "How do we face a species that turns silence into a weapon?" One demanded. Another hissed, "They don't fight like we do. Their death worlds have made them something else, something terrifying." A third voice rose, cold and resolute. "We must negotiate." The chamber fell silent. Silthar shook his head. "There is no negotiating with killers who have survived betrayals we cannot fathom. We must end this, now." Back on the Defiance, Chen received a distress call from Kayla. "We're trapped. Gravity is down. More enemies incoming." Chen's hand tightened around the console. "Hold position. Backup is en route." Seconds later, a squad of cloaked human soldiers emerged through the bulkhead, catching the Virek off guard and clearing a path. Kayla exhaled sharply. "Thank you, Commander." Outside the warship, the Virek fleet's movements grew erratic. Ships veered wildly as nanodrones hacked propulsion systems. Several capital ships drifted helplessly, sitting ducks for orbital artillery. Chen studied the display. "This is our moment," she keyed her comm. "Initiate orbital bombardment." On Earth's surface, hidden artillery installations roared to life, firing massive concentrated energy beams at drifting Virek ships. Explosions blossomed in the void, silver hulls rupturing, ships breaking apart in fiery clouds. Inside the alien citadel, the tide of battle shattered morale. Virax's voice trembled. "We are losing cohesion. The humans, they are monsters of survival and silence." Silthar slammed a fist on the console. "Order a full retreat." The command was met with stunned silence, but the humans would not let them go so easily. Chen pressed forward with relentless precision, coordinating hit-and-run strikes. The Defiance and her sister ships struck like phantoms, shattering shield grids and crippling engines. Every engagement cost lives, but each loss forged a fiercer resolve. That night, after hours of relentless combat, Chen retreated briefly to the command center. Her face was pale beneath the harsh lights. Reyes approached quietly. "Commander, it's taking a toll." Chen nodded. "It always does." She looked out the viewport, seeing Earth glowing faintly beneath the stars. A world shaped by betrayal, silence, and unyielding will. We fight because this is home, because silence is the last thing they'll ever hear. Meanwhile, deep in the alien command, the Council's fractures widened. "Negotiation is the only way forward," urged an elder. "No," Siltha said flatly. "Only dominance will save us." The chamber descended into chaos as old alliances cracked. The battle's outcome remained uncertain, but one truth was clear. Humanity's silence was no longer passive. It was a weapon, a storm, a promise. The cold silence of space had been broken, but it was a silence with teeth. The Virek fleet, once a shining testament to their technological mastery, now limped in battered formation, fleeing the wrath of a species they had barely comprehended. Aboard the Defiance, Mira Chen's fingers hovered over her console. Her face was pale, eyes flickering with exhaustion and something fiercer, an unspoken rage forged in years of betrayal, loss, and survival. "Is this it?" Reyes asked quietly. "The turning point?" Chen's gaze did not waver from the holographic battlefield. "It's the beginning." Across the war-torn void, the remnants of the Virek command ship Jalkesh flickered with alarms. Admiral Silthar's antennae twitched uncontrollably. His exoskeleton was cracked in places, his pride shattered. "Deploy the shadow squads," he commanded, voice hoarse but resolute. "Let them know the true meaning of Deathworld vengeance." The Jalkesh shuddered as hidden pods opened, releasing stealth drones that melded into the darkness like phantoms. But the humans were ready. On Earth's orbital command, Lieutenant Kayla Morozov led a reconnaissance team aboard a downed Virek vessel. The corridors were still thick with alien blood and the eerie silence of death. "Keep your eyes open," Kayla whispered into her comm. "Their cloaking tech can't save them from us now." Her squad advanced, scanning for Virek data cores. And survivors. The nano-drones swarmed ahead, disabling traps and sensors. Suddenly the ship's lights flickered. The walls seemed to pulse as alien bioluminescence flared, revealing hidden figures. "Ambush!" Kayla shouted. The firefight was brutal. Alien warriors emerged from shadow, claws and plasma blades slashing through air, but humans fought with cold precision and unyielding will, enhanced by Deathworld training and cutting-edge tech. Kayla's squad was pushed to the edge, but her voice never faltered. "Hold! For Earth! For survival!" A grenade exploded, showering the corridor in blinding light. When it cleared, the alien attackers lay defeated. The team pressed on. Back on the Defiance, Chen faced the unending burden of command. She saw in every tactical decision the faces of the fallen. Friends, strangers, heroes, shaped by a planet forged in hardship. Reyes approached, voice low. "Commander, the Council is divided. Some want to negotiate, others demand annihilation." Chen's eyes flashed. "We don't negotiate with monsters who hunted us like prey." "Yet mercy could be our greatest weapon," Reyes countered. Chen stared out at the stars. "Mercy comes after dominance. First, we survive." In the fractured Virek council chamber, Varaxa's eyes glowed with desperate resolve. "We underestimated them. Their silence was not weakness, it was a warning." Silthar's antennae twitched angrily. "They fight like death incarnate. Our war machines were outmatched by scavengers from a death world." "Scavengers," Varaxa spat. "No, they are the nightmare we created. We woke the galaxy's reckoning," a faction leader hissed. "Their technology, nanotech, EMP shields, cloaking. It's evolution and rage combined." The Council splintered, old rivalries erupting as the Virek faced their darkest hour. On Earth's surface, hidden weapons platforms charged silently. Gravity warheads and EMP arrays hummed with power beneath the crust. Scientist Dr. Amina Rashid monitored energy flows, her fingers dancing over controls. "This is the culmination of decades of sacrifice and silence. Our weapons aren't just tech, they're our vengeance." Chen's voice came through the comm. "Dr. Rashid, the fleet needs that edge." Amina nodded. "We'll give it to them." Orbiting Earth, the Virek fleet prepared for another assault, unaware that humanity's silent wrath had only just begun to roar. The void was a canvas for devastation. Bright flares blossomed as humanity's precision strikes tore through the Virek armada. The fleet, once a symbol of unstoppable force, now burned and twisted in the cold expanse. Chen's fingers danced across the tactical interface aboard Defiance. "Target the lead ships. Focus on command nodes and propulsion systems. We disable, then destroy." "Understood," Reyes replied. "The Virek aren't expecting this level of coordination. Their formation is fracturing." Below the shattered fleets, small human craft swarmed. Cloaked in the faint shimmer of nanotech camouflage, they struck like ghosts, silent and lethal. Kayla Morozov's squad led the boarding of the crippled Jalkesh. Her voice was steady, despite the chaos. "Remember, they fear us more than we fear them." Inside the command ship, the alien crew's morale collapsed. Confusion turned to panic as systems failed one by one. Silthar's voice echoed through the ship's comms, strained but defiant. "This is not over. We fight to the last pulse." Varaxa, wounded and trembling, whispered, "We were blind. The humans are the death world incarnate." Back on Earth, Dr. Amina Rashid activated the underground weapon arrays. Gravity warheads rippled the space-time fabric near the fleet, disrupting the Virek's shields and navigation. "Let them feel the weight of our world," she said softly. Amidst the carnage, Chen's voice grew quiet with resolve. "This war will not be forgotten. They believed silence was weakness. We showed them silence was waiting." The Virek War Council chamber lay in ruins, fissures splitting its once proud walls. Varaxa's sharp gaze scanned the shattered remnants of her faction. "They exploit our weakness, fracture and conquer. We must unite or perish." Silthar's voice, brittle and cold, responded, "Unity. After betrayal and ruin, I see only chaos." In the depths of Earth's command center, Chen faced her own ghosts. Every decision weighs heavier, every victory, a sacrifice. Reyes approached quietly. "The galaxy watches. Will they fear or hate us?" Chen's eyes burned. "They will remember." Meanwhile, a shadow fleet of unexpected alien allies approached Earth's orbit, ancient enemies of the Virek, drawn by humanity's defiance. "Doctor," Rashid whispered, "the balance of power shifts beneath our feet." The void pulsed with silent threats. Virek shadow squads harassed human supply lines, striking from unseen angles with brutal efficiency. Earth's forces tightened their defenses, but the cost was mounting. Chen stood over the tactical map. Every loss is a wound. We can't afford weakness. On board the Defiance, whispers of sabotage stirred unrest. Reyes confronted the communications officer. Are we compromised? The officer's eyes darted, guilt shadowing her features. There's someone feeding Virek intel. In a dim corridor, Kayla Morozov caught a glimpse of a figure slipping away, an ally or a traitor. The stars flickered like distant witnesses to the chaos unfolding. The Virek siege fleet surrounded Earth's orbital defenses, their warships casting dark shadows that blotted out the sun's light. Chen stood in the command deck, her voice steady, yet laden with urgency. They think to starve us into submission. We will show them that Earth does not bow. Reyes tapped a series of commands. We've detected multiple cloaked assault pods preparing to breach the perimeter. Nanotech jamming and EMP bursts are holding for now. Chen's gaze hardened. Prepare the interceptors. Every moment counts. Below, in the orbital dockyards, Kayla Morozov coordinated rapid deployment. Get those pilots ready. We fight, not just for Earth, but for every soul who calls it home. Meanwhile, in the shadowed corridors of Earth's secret research station, Dr. Amina Rashid wrestled with the ethical limits of their weaponry. We risk becoming what we hate, she murmured, but there may be no other choice. As the siege tightened, hope flickered in the grim determination of humanity's defenders. But the coming battle would test not just their weapons, but their very will. The cold void was alive with fire. Explosions blossomed like deadly flowers in the blackness as Earth's orbital fleet waged a desperate battle against the Virek siege. Starships twisted and shattered, debris drifting silently through the cosmic graveyard. Commander Mira Chen stood at the heart of Defiance's command deck, eyes burning with grim resolve. Around her the crew moved like shadows, executing orders in synchronized precision. "Status report," she demanded, voice cutting through the tension. Lieutenant Reyes answered without hesitation. "Hull breaches in 5 sectors, shields holding. At 40%. Enemy boarding pods detected on the starboard side." Chen's jaw clenched. "Deploy countermeasures and prepare boarding parties. We don't give ground." Down in the ship's corridors, Kayla Morozov led a squad of soldiers through twisting passageways, moving to repel Virek invaders. Their boots echoed against metal walls slick with alien ichor. "Keep tight," Kayla hissed. "They're coming through the vents." Plasma blasts seared the air as the humans fought with grim efficiency. Kayla's squad was the spearhead, the last line between the invaders and the ship's critical systems. Back on Earth's surface, Dr. Amina Rashid monitored the battle remotely, her face etched with strain. "Commander, the underground EMP arrays are fully charged," she reported. "One more detonation could cripple the entire siege fleet." Chen nodded grimly. "Hold position. We'll signal when to fire." Aboard the Jalkesh, Admiral Silthar's control room was chaos. The alien commander's exoskeleton was cracked and flickering with damaged circuits. This species, their silence was their weapon. "Now their fury is our downfall," Silthar growled. Suddenly alarms blared as his ship shook violently. "Boarders detected," he snarled. Inside the Defiance, the battle turned personal. Kayla's squad cornered a Virek warlord deep within the engineering decks. "You will surrender," Kayla demanded, weapon trained. The alien sneered, voice dripping venom. "You know nothing of survival. We are the galaxy's apex." Kayla's finger tightened on the trigger. "Not anymore." Outside, Earth's underground detonated in a blinding pulse, rippling through the void like a wave of justice. Virek ships staggered, systems faltering. Chen whispered, "Now!" The counterstrike was brutal, crushing the siege's momentum. But victory came with a cost. The Defiance was crippled, casualties mounted. The crew moved as one, knowing the war was far from over. Chen stood on the command deck, voice hoarse. "We've survived the storm. Now we shape the future." The ruins of space around Earth shimmered with ghostly debris. The Virek remnants retreated in fractured silence, their once proud armada broken like shards of glass. Commander Mira Chen stood at the helm of the battered Defiance, her silhouette etched against the distant stars. The war had carved deep scars in both sides, but humanity stood unbroken. "Prepare the message," Chen ordered. "We speak now, not as conquerors, but as survivors." In the vast council chambers of the allied alien races, a hush fell. Silthar, wounded and humbled, faced the assembly. "We underestimated the humans," he admitted, voice heavy. "They are the death world incarnate, silent, patient, relentless." On Earth, Dr. Amina Rashid analyzed the war's aftermath. "We wielded terrible power, but the choice now is ours, to wield it wisely or be consumed by it." Kayla Morozov returned from the front lines, scars both physical and unseen. She looked to Chen. "We fought monsters, but we must not become them." The final transmission echoed through the void, a chilling yet hopeful vow. "We are here. We are listening. The silence has ended. The galaxy held its breath, waiting for humanity's next move."